praise on the just and the unjust, and that you know everything. We thank you. Pray this meeting goes well and brings you honor and glory. Forgive us for the devil, in Christ's name we pray. Roll call.
Mark is absent. Erica? Here. Jeremy is absent. Mike?
Here.
Chris?
Here.
Jeremy? Or JJ?
Here.
Okay. First item on our agenda is approval of the agenda. Do I hear a motion to approve? Got a motion by, I'm sorry, motion by Mike. Do I hear?
I'll second.
Second by JJ. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All approved, or all opposed, like sign. And that did pass. Next item is the minutes for the previous 4 meetings, and do I hear a motion?
Did we need to table these? Is that-
Yes, I'll have a few corrections I'll go over to Kim for her review. I would recommend it table before that.
I will make a motion to table.
Second.
Got a motion by JJ and a second by Mike to table.
Mayor? You had made the comment that you were tabling 4 meeting minutes, but on the agenda, there's only 3. Which,
That's because we did not have the ones Friday for the last meeting, and I don't put them on the agenda until I receive.
but you just said 4 meetings, so do we need to add that
That
date?
one will need added, yes.
That date added to the agenda,
Yes,
that you tabled it?
it would,
Okay,
yes.
so what date is that?
It's the, was it January
24th?
Fourth.
Yeah, was that a special meeting?
I mentioned the last 4, and that would be the last.
No, wait, not January.
No.
February.
No, March.
We had-
March 24th.
So just confirming March 24th?
Yes.
Is the 2 weeks after March 10th?
Yes.
And who made the motion to table?
I did, and I think Mike.
Mike seconded.
I second.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign, and that was unanimously passed. Next item is financial reports for the city financials. We still are not ready with those. Do I hear a motion to table?
I will move the table then.
Motion by JJ, do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Chris. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign, and that was passed. The next item is the water and sewer financials. And first off, the financials are in your packet. And the final set is the March of financials for January through March, and it's the current period is March of 2026. The rest of the previous ones are being presented to you tonight in accordance with the state statutes. And I'm asking for approval of the March financials. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So, can you're just the March financials?
Just the March financials, they're the only ones that we should approve.
I personally with all of this in front of me, I would move to table it so that I can really comb through it since we haven't had it. And since we're skipping months.
I was gonna say, I don't see Will here. NC, have you? Did you guys? I didn't know if you
Which
would
is
have
the
the
table it, make a
I'm
motion.
gonna, yeah, I was just, yes, I moved to table, please.
Okay, got a motion by Erica, do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Motion by Erica and second by JJ to table.
Can I make a note? On the agenda, you says financial reports for August 10-15 through February 2026.
Right, and then
Can we change that on the agenda to have the correct date.
What is 10/15?
And then it says, in March 2026, approval water and sewer.
I understand, but what is August 10/15
I
through?
think if
Oh,
I,
it should have been 2025.
yeah, I think
Yes.
it's just the keys are one left.
Yeah, I will fix that. So, yes,
Thank you.
This is tabling all of them, right?
it's, yeah, there's nothing really to table on the others. State law says I'm supposed to submit them. So that's what I was doing. Those have not been, the March ones are accurate. I'm not asking for approval of the others. We're asking that they, or we're submitting them in accordance with state law. So the submission has been done tonight. The approval was only for March, and that's what we,
Okay.
I seconded that, Eric is table.
is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. And the March minutes are tabled. I mean, the March financials are tabled for water and sewer. Next is department reports. Fire.
You guys have a report in front of you that Tony sent, is there any questions on that?
Am I both of these fire alarms, Gary? Is that
That'll be
me?
next month.
Okay. Thanks to Gary and the department, my preschool was having some issues with its fire alarm, and the guys from the fire department went out there and got it all fixed up, so thank you guys so much.
And they fixed the problem next
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's nothing new on the station, unless he knows something. There's supposed to be something going on in May, I think, to get it made. Other than that, it's all right on the station.
Well, good to see you back up here.
Yep, I want you, stuff happened, so, military and everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you. Next is the police report.
Did you guys, same thing, you guys have the reports in front of you. I don't remember if I told you or if it happened at the last meeting. I can't remember, we had an officer resign, and we have hired a new one, and he had started yesterday. So we're trying to get him all spun up and get him out. So, which we, and Sergeant Jones is back in country. He's no longer deployed. He's back home. I think he's gonna come back next Monday. He's been back for 3 weeks, but I think he's ready to get back to it from his deployment, so.
What about the one that was
Injured,
injured?
he's still injured.
Still
He's still going through physical therapy. We've got him back in a light duty capacity. And he's still going to therapy twice a week. And, don't know, it's week by week. You know, as long as he's still going to therapy, that means he's progressing. Because when they stop therapy, when we'll know for sure if he's gonna get 100% back or 90% back or what. But he is progressing back, he's walking, he's driving, he's doing things, he's getting slowly better.
Good.
Did we figure out the source of the loose cattle?
Yeah, they figured that out and got him rounded up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know we were on
And the funny thing
Facebook
is,
and stuff, chasing cows, the news.
yeah,
It must have been a slow news day if they're
yeah.
picking up on a cow running through Cave Springs.
Well, thank you, Chief.
Thanks.
Thank you. Planning Commission report.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Planning Commission meeting was last Monday. We had a few items on the agenda. One was the Fort Meadows rezoning. They had proposed a R3 zoning on the property that, part of it's south of Hillcrest and then, part of it's already rezoned R2. We've talked about this a little bit already, but, they tabled this. The applicant had and brought back some different layouts and some different discussion points. Wanted to look at maybe a mix of lots and things like that on the site to see what the planning commission was looking at or looking for when, you know, we had the original meeting. So we had a pretty good discussion about lots, larger lots versus then might go layout as far as streets and road connectivity and things like that. But that was a lot of the meeting. Good discussion, and they're gonna, you know, come back and resubmit either some straight zoning or like there's gonna be a PZD process, go through that or something like that. Still kind of working through that from their standpoint. So I think at this point, like one of the things they showed was a density of like 2.2 homes per acre. So it wasn't like it was a whole lot, you know, considering there's 70 acres there, maybe 160 homes. So the other item, fairly new, not really new, but the rezoning for Summerlin Village. So everybody here is familiar with that. We had rezoned it to a PZD. During their site plan review process and the layout they're proposing, they have always intended to, and during the meetings, sell units individually. Well, the PZD zoning did not show that they had any zero lot line code written into their PZD document. So they're actually going to resubmit a revision to their PZD document, is essentially what they're doing. The only thing they're proposing change is to add the provisions to allow for zero lot lines on the homes that they've already shown, the multi-attached single-family homes. Nothing's changing as far as the site, the layout, the density, none of that. They're just actually adding verbiage to allow for zero lot lines, basically.
And zero lot lines would allow for the individual sale of each parcel within that home, correct?
Yes.
Because there's no separation, so there can't be a lot
Mm,
line.
yeah.
Okay. I
Yeah,
just
and
wanted to
zero-
clarify, because there were some, I think, residents in Brentwood that were very surprised by this, and they were saying, we don't want this. I said, it's too late, it's already passed. And as a council member, I received no feedback from any Brentwood resident that I remember. So I said, it's already passed, they're just asking for the rezone, but I wanted to make sure that the only reason they're asking for that rezone is because literally the homes are attached to one another, so you need a zero lot line to sell.
Yes.
Okay.
And it was discussed as far as them selling them individually. I think that was a known idea. It's not something new. It's not something surprising. I think that at some point there was maybe an assumption made that they were going to do a upward charrette, which is common also, or not a charrette, horizontal property regime. Another weird term that I don't expect you to understand, but it's what they use to sell like apartments and individual apartment units or something. It's just another way to facilitate the individual sale. But they're still going to be essentially maintained through their POA document and through like their zoning and stuff like that, all that stuff there. So really, it's not changing anything other than allowing for the zero lot lines. That's what the proposal is. And well, I take that. They added verbiage in there, some wording that says the exterior finishes will reflect surrounding property types. As far as, and all that means is colors of the units are not going to be bright pink or something, essentially. You know, something more calm, I guess.
I have one question about that. There would be a lot line though between the homes themselves, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I was gonna make sure that we're not trying to.
No, I mean,
change
it's going to be the same way like downtown buildings are.
Okay,
You know,
there
there's
will
zero
be-
lot lines. You know, and the lot line will be on a dividing wall. That will be a 2-hour firewall, yeah, say the building code beside me. So it'll have to be like built to be a 2-hour firewall, which means they're usually like fire rated 5/8 sheetrock, and they have to extend all the way up to canopy penetrations. There's a whole plethora of building and stuff that goes into even creating or being allowed to have zero lot lines.
But my question was each unit itself will have a lot
They will, and they'll have like their own specific, like designated yard space and things like that. So that's where, they had designated some of that, as far as like yard space, and like how they want to do, like sidewalks and things. But then, like, just for some reason, zero law like that, yes. So. And then we're just still working on the site plan review for that overall, that's on the village one. They were submitted, we submitted plans back to them, they were submitted, we were submitted back to them. At this point, it's with them. We're still working on a couple of things that we're proposing to, they were proposing to retain ownership of the lift station site that they're gonna have to put in, which actually goes against our code. And so we had to have a discussion about that. It's like y'all would actually have to like revise the code to allow that, so that I think they potentially contacted Justin. I don't know if he's heard from him. I haven't got to talk with Justin specifically about this, but my understanding is that they've been working with their attorney. We're not going to allow them to, well, no, we have spoken about this. Sorry. We spoke about this beforehand. I haven't heard your discussion with them. We're not gonna allow them to retain ownership of the site the lift station's on, but there's been some discussion about right of first refusal. If we ever get gravity sewer out there, what they want is to be able to take the land back to be able to put them in line, which I don't think from a city standpoint necessarily an issue with.
I think the issue is right now, there's not traditional gravity sewer up there. So there's a collection tank, right? That's then forced, somebody's got to correct me on this, but through pressure. At some point in time, my understanding in talking with Will is there are no plans to put gravity sewer up there, but theoretically at some point in time, there may be gravity sewer. If gravity sewer happens, that tank could go away at that point. And so the question they're asking is, the property that the tank sits on, could that then go back to the developer? We can step in and say, city code requires it to be city owned. We can't put it on an easement, we don't want it, it needs to be on city deeded property for a variety of reasons. So that's been communicated to it and kind of continued to talk, but, you know, I said, anything different from city ownership would require you guys to come before the city council and probably more this change. So I think they're looking at a different approach.
Part of the problem, and part of the ask, is the state health department codes when you put these tanks in. We've seen with the subdivisions, the health department has a minimum distance rule from the storage tanks. I can't remember what they see in this. Like, it's not just having a grinder pump lift station. The tanks are seen as a different facility, and you have to have a larger buffer area around it. Like, Skillcrest actually lost a little lot they originally put on the plat because the health department said, no, you can't have a home, you know, a residence within so close to this. So they've lost a whole commercial building essentially. And they're just hoping to maybe 10, 15 years down the road, they can get commercial there to be able to get the property back somehow and continue with the original plans of putting up a second commercial, which is what the PC would like. We're working through it, but we haven't ran into this issue before, so there's been lots of discussion with attorneys and staff and engineering. But there's nothing for y'all this month, so at this point, I don't have anything else. So I'll listen to some questions. Thank you.
Next is the water and sewer department report, and my understanding is that with Will out, he sent the information through Dan.
That is correct. Just a quick update. Since the last council meeting, they've identified 7 service line leaks. 2 meters that were not registering flow, which will be corrected as well. And also, we're planning to transfer an employee that currently works in the water and sewer department to the floodplain administrator and MS4 administrator position that they're currently working through. They did have 1 employee that's turned in his notice, but the good news is that we're already moving forward with attempting to hire a replacement for the MS4 individual, and they're starting interviews probably, may have started this week. That was maybe department. You'll notice the majority of those are replacing those water services that they identified. Unfortunately, as they continue to identify those services, and you look at the water loss under the public works report, our water loss is back up again this month to 64%, but they're moving pretty quickly as they can to go ahead and correct these leaks that they're finding. So as they're correcting those, we're bringing a third-party boring contractor in, boarding the street, while they're also looking for additional leaks. So they're moving as quickly as they can. Any questions on the?
Is there a common denominator for all these bids?
Yes, common denominator is the material that was used back in the time frame all these were constructed. Our neighboring cities are running into the same issue. Issues Bentonville is, Fayetteville is. I don't know if it's the material at the time that has degraded that we're having issues with, but it's common beyond the city limits of Cajun Rocks. So
Everyone else that they're having the same kind of
I appreciate that, I'm not worried about them.
No, but it's all within the same, time
It's the
frame.
same building in the same time, right? So I'm saying common, we're seeing it's elsewhere, it's a material issue.
Just as like a layperson, I think, because this has been one of the issues, I've been trying to focus on, and I'm even the one that asked for the dollar amount that we put on here, however many years ago that was, for the water loss. But it's just the way that I'm conceptualizing of it is for a period of our growth, we were using this material that is now very leak prone. And then as we've been going through and fixing the system, replacing the old material, it almost like relocates the leaks because the pressure, it pushes that water then to the other older areas and then the leaks that spring up there. My thought is, or at least the way I'm understanding as a layperson, is that once we replace all of that older material, we should see like a precipitous drop in leaks because it's almost like we're, having to like plug the holes as they pop up, and by plugging one hole, it's in a very real way sometimes I think causing the other leaks, is what Willis said. That's just the way I'm conceptualizing of it as a layperson. Is there a way to get a kind of an update on, because I remember there's been discussion in the past that we don't even necessarily have like a map that shows here's where all of that material is to where we can go in and start to proactively replace it or something like that. Is that, are we kind of finding that out as the leaks spring up, or what is that situation in terms of, do we know where all that material is, or?
Yes, we have a good idea where the material is, and that's where they're focusing their efforts on looking for leak detection.
Okay.
So that's why they're concentrating in those areas.
So are we just fixing the leaks and not fixing the lines?
No, so we're putting brand new service lines in. We're not doing localized corrections or leak fixes. We're putting an entire new service line in, replacing it in its entirety.
And then, are you putting, I stopped by, I think Brentwood has many, but isn't there like kind of like a covering that you're protecting with, it's blue?
Well, under the streets, they're sleeving them under any paved areas. So when they
Yeah.
go under the streets, they're being sleeved. That way, if you have to replace them in the future, you pull the sleeve out, or the sleeve stays in, you pull the, you don't have to rebore it in the future, if you will.
Well, Ravine, isn't that subdivision south of Ford over there?
It's south of, Brown.
Agreed.
South of Brown Road. That's not that old a subdivision.
None of these are.
432,000.
They were all done since, 2006, so they're all 20 years old or less.
Yeah, and keep in mind, a lot of these are 20 years old that they're replacing too.
Well, I just, part of the reason I'm speaking on it too is just this has been an issue that I've focused on, and I do want the public to know that there are some issues that are just complex issues that, they don't admit of an immediate, let's just take $80,000 and pay Bill and he's gonna go out and just instantly fix the whole thing, right? And I think it's important to recognize that this has been a persistent issue that we've stayed on our engineering team and our water and sewer team about And I feel like we have a very good team. I really trust Daniel. I really trust Will. I think he's great in his position. And so I'm seeing all the work and the forward progress, but from the outside looking in, or if I'm just a citizen and I'm looking at this, I can still imagine being really alarmed by it. I think you recognizing that there is a finite nature to the problem, that, you know, once we can replace the majority of or all of this material that is subpar, that we will see a huge decrease in water loss. And so I mean, that's a project we just have to keep using the tools that we've got to combat it. So I appreciate the work you're doing, Daniel. I just kind of wanted to speak to that.
But we'll keep it identified and keep it moving. Just keep in mind, every day, your system is a day old.
Yeah.
So you've got to think proactively and make sure we're looking at repairs in the future as well, because once the service lines are corrected, you have older lines that still need addressing, like the galvanized lines. We thought we had all those repaired as well, or replaced, and then we still find those periodically as leaks show themselves.
Yeah, I think in about 2012, it was declared that all galvanized lines were now replaced, and we continue to find them periodically here and there.
Yep.
All right, and we have just project-related items. The NACA project will have an ordinance on the agenda later tonight to talk about the bond swap on it. That project is basically wrapped up once that's completed. The two highway department relocations that we're doing, those are still, the one on the north side of town, borders Bentonville. We received approvals from the Department of Health. We're just awaiting a contract from RDOT to allow us to go ahead and obtain right-of-way. And we're going to bid that project and get it moving forward. And then we're wrapping up the design on the major part of it here in the downtown area. The pump station, the wastewater treatment plants, are the two that we have. The final closeout report has been submitted to the Department of Environmental Quality, and we're waiting on them to accept that. As soon as that is accepted, we are finished with that project. As far as the water service area expansion, we've submitted the preliminary report to Natural Resource Division of the Department of Agriculture, and they've reviewed that and asked us to go ahead and advertise and set up a public hearing to move forward with trying to tie down the water service areas west of here, primarily, that we're looking for. And we will need to notify all of our neighbors within a certain distance. I can't remember the distance, but it's going to be Springdale, Rogers, and Bentonville will need to be notified of that public hearing.
We also notify all the people out there.
No, sir, we're not required that. Well, they will be notified through the advertisement, but we don't have to physically notify each one of them individually, just those who it would affect that border us.
Okay.
Any questions on the water and sewer side?
Thank you. And engineering report now.
All right, now the West Wallace Road project, that actually started today before the rain started. Notice to proceed was issued. They will probably do the majority of the work at this setting, but they will have to demobilize and probably within the next 2 months and wait to remove, I think, 5 trees that are along the route. They have to wait till November 15th due to bats and the regulatory requirements associated with utilizing those grant funds that we have from RDOT. So the project will take a little while longer than we anticipated. The signal light, as you know, is operational. I think we've got everything taken care of, other than doing a final inspection and pulling a punch list together for the contractor. And we'll have to get RDOT on site in that final inspection as well. Going to touch on some localized drainage items. Visiting with the mayor, we've got several that we'll be pulling together or dusting off some estimates. Brown Road is one of them. There's a home there that we've talked about in the past that has received flooding several times. The mayor's asked us to look at pricing for a phased approach on that, and we'll be working through that.
Is that the house at the bottom of the hill there?
Yes,
Where
sir.
they like replace their fence with the,
It is. We'll also be looking at Burdine Road. There's an area just west of the new subdivision there on Burdine Road. The mayor's asked us to look at some solutions there. The ditch bank, by the city shop right up the road. City forces are planning to get in and clean that out, rocking the bottom, down trees and the like, and we'll need to get, probably one, maybe two permits to do that. So Mayor's asked us to, get started on that. Fairway Valley, we talked about that, and one of the items that we looked at, Mayor Justin and I, when that project was originally approved in phase one, and it's continued, no streets were dedicated, during that plat approval process. So that being the case, that's not, we can't do work, on the property we do not own, for that specific one.
And that includes like the drainage going out to the creek too, correct?
That's correct.
Because the drainage and the roads and all of that was connected with us not owning it.
That's correct.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that, thank you.
And there is a culvert there, which we did look at that culvert, but you have to be very careful. If you increase the size of that culvert and the creek gets up too high, you could adversely affect, the homes in that area, because more water could flow, from the, west back to the east into the subdivision.
But we can't even look at that further because we
I'd have to go back there, we may have an easement through on that, I'd have to go back and look at that specific area, but it would not be recommended to make any changes to that culvert.
Thank you.
And then, I visited with the mayor and David actually today, there's, some drainage, in Soaring at Scissortail. This is a subdivision that was approved by Rogers prior to the land swap. There was some standing water, within that area and encroaching on some in Scissortail, and we're looking into that as well. It appears to be, a lot of it has to do with, constructability while they're constructing, putting spoil piles out there, not allowing water to get out to the road. But in visiting with David, we want to make sure that we visit with the developer to ensure he knows that there is a potential ponding issue back there. And when the homes are, finally graded, we want to make sure that water is able to get out in that area. I think I have covered all of them unless you have any questions.
I do have a question. Being on Vernon myself, and I know McClellan does stuff in Lowell as well. I know that the city of Cave obviously had sent that letter. Can you expand upon when you received that letter, since the mayor said you're looking at it from the Cave aspect on Verdine, but why did residents receive that letter along Verdine in reference to Lowell? Are you able to expand on that at all?
Make sure I'm understanding the specific one you're looking at. You're talking about the potential to make improvements to Highway 264?
Yes.
There? Yes.
We already see that, I don't know, 2-3 months ago?
Yes.
So just how, I guess, why did we receive that letter, or can you expand on that? I don't know if you can.
We're in the preliminary processes, we are working with Lowell at preliminary processes of looking at what improvements could look like, on 264. Primarily, these are transportation improvements. But when I'm looking at that, there is a known drainage issue in that area, which we also want to try to capture during those improvements. This is not a short-term process because there's no funding for it, and it is on state-owned property as well. So part of this is determining what can this project look like, what does this project cost, and then can we get that incorporated into the capital plan of RDOT? It will likely take some type of cost share with the city as well, city of Lowell is what we're looking at, but that process is moving forward.
So when you said the mayor asked you to look at Verdine for clarification, is that what you're looking at, or is there something additional?
No, it's the outfall from the detention pond.
Hillcrest.
Hillcrest, yes.
Okay, so that's why I was like, wait a minute, I don't.
Nope, it's the outfall of that. There's a couple of options that we can do to get the surface water off of the road right there, and that's what we're looking
Yeah,
at.
because it's horrible. And then with that being said, what about, did you end up pulling permits for Hillcrest since they're having continuous drainage issues?
No, we did have a good meeting with them just 2 weeks ago. We had several folks from the current ownership of the subdivision and the original developer, I believe it's S&K, who we have a bond with. Went through the entire subdivision. We have a punch list, probably it's a little less than a page, punch list items that they need to address. And there was some discussion on, well, who should do this? Because property is transferred, And David wrote a very good email to them that basically says, we don't care who does it, it will get done. So I would have expected to see a little bit more, or some work since that meeting, but due to the rain that we've had, it's held them up some extent. But we're confident that we'll be able to get them to get in and get this taken care of.
Do we have a suspense for them? Because it's gonna continue to rain. It's almost like they very much took advantage of the city in the dry months that we had, but it could have been mucked out. So I just don't, if you have expected to hear from them by now, I think there needs to be some follow-up and then some repercussions if it's not done. Because the bottom line is, it's not gonna dry out for a while, especially with the additional rain, so they can't muck it out.
Yes, we can get in, well, there's a couple things they can do, because the bottom orifice on the drainage structures have some grass in it and things of that nature. That can be cleaned out to allow the pond to fully, let the water out of the pond, if you will. So there are some things that they can get in there and do.
Because they haven't maintained it all. PVC pipe down there, all sorts of trash before it continued to rain. So if we could get a suspense on that and get a follow-up and some movement forward before the next meeting, I don't think that would be unreasonable to you.
No, ma'am, I do not.
So then you can have an update, because otherwise, I think those permits, we've given them months to fix it, and they haven't, and there's no really repercussions that we give them as a city.
Now, right now, we have the bond, and then we have building permits. Those are the two items that we have at our disposal.
So I think they should make some, or at least provide you a game plan of suspense dates where they plan on doing things to move forward.
And we'll have that at the next meeting.
Perfect, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
I've got a couple of things, questions. On Brown Road, wasn't there was one time we discussed taking that curb out, just coming straight down to the highway.
That's happening, yeah.
Yeah, that's happening with RDOT. That's an RDOT project. There'll be a roundabout there, and they will straighten all that out.
Okay.
There'll be a roundabout, I think. in the end.
Second, I know I've talked to Justin, and I'd like to know how the conversations are going with Springdale about where, the pumping patch used to be down here and, across the creek.
Yes,
Blue Ribbon.
yes, we're actually trying, well, are we talking about the drainage?
Yes. Talk about the drainage that comes across here, that's a flood zone.
Yes, there's a line right there. We need to cut a ditch from the culvert, which we had in the project that we had, trying to call the name of the road, Phil's Lane. But there's a existing Springdale Water Utility water line there that it's too high to cut the ditch. So we're working through that with Springdale Water to see if we can lower that.
That's a separate issue that we're working on for Phil. There, he's talking about the new subdivision that's coming between, Wagon Hill and, the creek there, across from the corner of the, golf course, and the impact it could have on downstream flooding.
Okay, I'll have to check into that. I'll need to check into that.
Because the property is in Springfield, correct?
It
That's
is
correct.
Yes.
Okay,
Well, it's
so
gonna
it would make
flood-
sense that you
It's
wouldn't
gonna
be up to
flood
par
part
on
of our
that.
city, which it does every year. So, and if they put a berm up around the creek, then they're altering the flow, the natural flow of the water. So, I don't know who their engineer is, but anyway. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Daniel.
Anything?
Thank you.
Next item is the attorney's report.
Okay, good afternoon or evening. Just gonna go through a few things. Earlier when the chief was speaking, mentioned about an update on the fire department lawsuit. That's been going through discovery with a lot of different parties are involved. You guys probably know on that matter. There was an appetite several months ago to get this to I believe I talked to you about, there was a desire to get it to a settlement conference. However, with the addition of new parties, they all wanted to do some discovery. We fulfilled a very large discovery request recently, probably 2 to 3 weeks ago, was something that we've worked on. And aside from that discovery, that's been the latest over the last month. Nothing new as far as any upcoming milestones. I don't believe there's been a trial date set. However, I think what has happened is everybody's insurance carrier has been evaluating kind of what went wrong. We have had a couple of experts, professionals assist us in going to the fire department, looking at the roof, looking at various problems. So when there's something new there, I'll let you know where it's going.
I have one question about that. When all of this is said and done, due to the fact that we paid to have it done, can they be responsible for all of our attorney's fees and everything else going into this? Because we as a city asked for a building to be completed, to be completed well. So all of this extra money that is taking the city, I don't think we should bear that cost. Is there a way to have them pay that?
This lawsuit is initiated by the city bringing action against the contractor, its legacy for breach of contract. And in breach of contract actions, the prevailing party is entitled to get insurance fees. There's a state law on that. Typically, in lawsuits, each party pays their own way. It's called the American rule. There's some exceptions. One of those is with contract cases. So we do have a claim for legal fees. That's in there. Of course, once we sued the contractor then turned around and filed third-party complaints. They filed lawsuits against all the subs. So they brought in every single sub, and once every single sub has come in, they've sent discovery. They've asked for, documents, records, communications, everything that we have. In addition to the subs, the architect was also brought into this. So, but yes, attorney's fees are part of the lawsuit. Additionally, over the last month, there's been a lot of work on easements for utilities for water and sewer. That's been a lot of work ongoing. Also, in addition to what Daniel talked about, we're actively working on code changes for drainage. We've hoped to have had something by now, but it's been a lot to undertake, so kind of looking forward later in a few months to have that complete to bring forward to you. Coming forward in 2 weeks is going to be the Plymouth handbook revisions that are being proposed, so we'll provide that to you for your work session, and we'll go through changes, discuss the various changes, proposals, questions that you have about the handbook at the work session. I believe it's also going to be at the work session the water master plan, the sewer master plan, which Cleveland has completed, and so looking at having that at the May city council meeting, so I'll put that on the probably get that for water and sewer, and then for work session, correct? Yes. Yeah, so that's all
The
coming
water
up.
service is the same.
The water service.
The water city has been approved by,
So, health department approval, water sewer committee has reviewed it, we've come to all, and that'll be up for approval later in May. I'm going to look through my list here. The final thing is we bring an issue to discussion here for you all, because I've received a number of questions about it. I thought it's best to have a appropriate discussion about it. The city's Facebook page got lots of questions about it, and about earlier in the month in Is this better?
Yes, yeah, I just wanna make sure that you're heard, yeah.
Sure. So, sorry about that. AJ, what I mentioned is that I've received a number of questions about the city's Facebook page and what had happened, so I thought it would just be best to bring it forward to you all. Starting off, the city council controls all real and personal property in the city. So if the city wants to buy or sell real property, if they want to buy or sell a vehicle or really if the city has an asset such as a vehicle or, desk and offices, computers, servers, firearms, fire equipment, all that sort of stuff. The state law puts that in possession and control of the city council. Administration manages those assets and uses those, but city council has ownership, so to speak, of those particular assets. My understanding essentially is that the city had a Facebook page that was set up in 2015, so 10, 11 years ago. And this was a site where you would have your city agendas, city meeting videos, things of that nature, posted, city announcements, those type of things. At some point last year, it went dark, it went down. Kimberly was the person who set that up in 2015, I believe. And it's my understanding that it was taken down last year, so the city set up a new Facebook page to push out information and host videos and things of that nature. Roughly a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months, the Facebook page came back up, but was titled has a new name to it, no longer City of Cave Springs, and had been posting political content. The users that were a part of the city's Facebook page over the last 10 years are still associated with that page, and so I think that raised a number of concerns. Earlier in the month, beginning of April, I sent an email to Kimberly's attorney about the issue, essentially saying this is a problem, I'd like to try to work this out. It's a city asset. Using it in such a way is problematic. And the response that I received back, he checked into it and he stated that the page was set up in 2015, that the page was a personal page that was tied to her personal credit cards and information, and at that time to set up the Facebook page you had to use a personal email, and Facebook did not accept a .gov email account to do so. Said that she's always been the administrator and that it was never run by the city, and then at some point last year she received a recommendation from somebody in the municipal league, I believe it was Mark Hayes in the municipal league, to turn it off, and so that's what she did. So I've had a couple of you contact me about it. I've had some discussions about it with concerns. I think the issues that I've heard is a concern about use of a city asset, which is the city Facebook page that was set up in the course of business, but also having all those users that were once following a city page sort of moved over to this now personal page that's being used. So I thought it best to have a conversation with you all about that and to answer any questions, but also see what you want to have done, because ultimately it's the responsibility of the council for for the property. I mean, I think there are a number of options. I think the best option is always to try to work it out, try to see if there could be a good resolution, because it doesn't make sense to have a disagreement over something like this. But still, I wanted to bring this all to light to you all and have this discussion at a meeting, so ultimately you all can decide what to do.
Now, does this break any kind of state law?
I think it's problematic, yeah. You know, naturally, some of the statutes that we're talking about are ones that were put into effect many years ago, right? So the statutes that talk about property of the city were enacted well before probably even had computers, much less social media sites. So, you know, you have to, you always have to take that into account. I have looked to see whether there happens to be a case or an AG's opinion or something of that nature that would maybe give some guidance. I haven't been able to find much on that so far, which happens sometimes with these questions, but I think ultimately it's a city asset. The types of issues that it could raise or those type of property issues, city property issues, it also raise ethical issues. Public officials have rules of ethics that they have to abide by on how they use public property, and so there could be issues there as well.
So if this is the case, brings into update, that's the city property?
Yes, sir. Well, it was, if you scroll backwards on the page, I've gone to just to look, because I was told about it. If you scroll backwards, you get to city content. You start getting to the meetings, and there's another issue there, is that the city has to maintain those recordings for a year of meetings. So for a while, that's where you were maintaining those. So you have that, but if you have city records, you know, those are required to be maintained. If there's agenda postings or, you know, things of that nature that are put out there, those are city packets, things like that. Those may have certain record retention requirements, but you have that. The other issue that I looked at was the about page for the site. So I'm not terribly knowledgeable about Facebook, but it has an about page where it talks about the purpose for its creation, and it's listed as a city page. So, you know, to at least, you know, to my eyes, when I'm going back, you see kind of personal political content, and as you scroll backwards, you get the city content in that page. You know, that was converted over roughly two months ago.
So Kimberly's still the administrator listed on it?
I assume she's administrator now, but I don't have access to that information. I think she was when the page was set up for the city.
So how do we get an administrator that we for sure know who it is?
Someone would have to transfer ownership of it, Mike. It's just like, you know, like for my businesses, we have business pages, and I can create them from my personal Facebook page, like that's what it's tied to originally, and then you can add editors or owners or transfer ownership of the page. Like if let's say I sold my preschool and we then transferred the ownership of the page to the new owner, we could do that. It has to be, all pages have to be created by an individual, and I think it's changed significantly over the years how it operates, but to create a page for like an organization or a business or a government, an individual has to create that, has to be tied, you know, created from some individual Facebook account. And so
ultimately, I think the resolution that I believe should be done, but it would ultimately be your choice, would be to transfer back the page or simply, you know, shut it down, let it go away, and then whoever wants to set up their own personal page for whatever type of content, they can do that and go forward.
But a quick question
Yeah.
to time that, when they need to be transferred to the city turned off, since it's a city asset.
Right,
Because with a vehicle, if you have a vehicle asset, the city sells it, not the,
correct.
so it would almost, am I wrong in that? It would have to be transferred to the city?
I suppose
And then it goes silent?
someone, yeah.
If it, I think ultimately that would be the proper thing to do, if it was just turned off altogether and never to be, you know, arisen again, then, you know, that would ultimately maybe have the same result, but it's a city page, and you do have pages for different things. You have it, you know, in the past, the police have had a Facebook page, and the city has, there are cities that have departments that have individual pages and, you know, pages for different reasons, and that could be used for that purpose.
Well, on that note, I mean, there are even satirical pages that's like, you know, the city of Bentonville has a satire page, but that it was created and always used as a satire page. I think that's what makes the situation unique and I think a lot of these legal issues, like you said, are frankly not fully settled, or there at least there are questions about them, but the use of the page as the official city page for years, I mean, that is an interesting situation. I think I did the same thing. I looked into it to see if I could find any case law on this, and it just, you know, like you said, the laws are older than the technology, but you know, the way I'm conceptualizing of it is there are lots of digital interfaces that we use, and you can create things and buy and sell things on those digital interfaces, but you know, if it was used as the city's page for years, it almost seems like there's a kind of a deputizing that happens there, or when it's allowed to be used that way as some kind of validation of it for that purpose. And so, yeah, it's an interesting case. It's also just a great reminder for everybody that, you know, social media is slowly making us all insane. And you know, Facebook, you're not paying for it because your attention is the product, and it boils down complex conversations into memes, and that's frankly never productive. And so, this page aside, I was saddened to see, you know, a page that was used for official purposes for so long turn into kind of a meme page about the city. But so that's just another note on it. But
So I think it's always worth trying to do everything we can to resolve issues, especially ones that you know, really shouldn't be problems to begin with. But you know, I think obviously you guys can take this into consideration and move on to the next item of business. You can also ask, you know, I can continue to try to work with them on this issue. I'm happy to do that and see whether this thing can get resolved. Ultimately, you know, the question has been asked to me, you know, what would ultimately you have to do to get control back? It's probably make a claim in a lawsuit to do it. It's happened before, maybe not for social media sites, but there's quite a case out of Lowell from 20 years ago when the mayor in Lowell at the time, Lowell had a stagecoach that it used for kind of its identity and at the city park and things like that. And the mayor kind of made a contract with somebody who was a stagecoach aficionado to keep it up and repair it, and after so long he could keep it and be his. And that got fought over, that stagecoach. And it went up to the Arkansas Supreme Court, and the Arkansas Supreme Court said, City Council, the ultimate kind of foundational issue is City Council has control of the city's real property and personal property, and if it wasn't approved by the City Council, then it doesn't matter if an agent of the city or somebody else in the city, you know, believe that they had an agreement or understanding or something on the side, it's a city asset. And ultimately, that's what I come back to, is, you know, I believe this was a city asset. And I think you could walk away from it and say, you know, we don't want it anymore, but, you know, I believe it was city property, so you get to make that decision.
I have two questions. Where are the videos being stored now?
Mayor, you
Right now, we do put them on Facebook, and then the chief is the one that works with that.
There was last year, another Facebook page was set up to host these videos when the first one went dark.
I believe we put them on YouTube though, don't we?
Yeah, YouTube now.
They're put on YouTube now, not the Facebook. Our city
Well,
doesn't use YouTube.
they're actually added to Facebook after the meeting to usually.
So I guess we're on,
Usually.
so I guess we're on Facebook, YouTube, and then we have maintained separate recordings.
If that is city property, then I think we need to shut it down, since we have another Facebook page for it.
Okay.
That would be my recommendation.
shut which one down, Mike?
Mike, you get closer to your mic.
Shut which one down, Mike? The older one?
Well, the one that was taken out in 2015, yeah.
Yeah. But I think part of the problem is we can't, right now, we can't shut it down. We don't have control of it. We'd have to gain control of the page, is what Justin's saying, to get it shut down.
Is that because we don't have the administrators can do it?
That's correct.
Well, theoretically,
Well,
yeah.
yeah, that's correct. So what,
Think.
Has that page ever had other administrators?
I don't believe that.
Yes.
That's
Chief,
the-
Yeah,
I
Chief
was,
Crispin.
at one time before the, rights were taken from me, it was me and the police chief had it as well.
They've never been an administrator. They've been
Yeah.
moderators,
I
not
think they're different
administrators.
levels of.
Yeah, it was a lower level, yes, but then it got changed.
When I think of admin, I think of the person who's got the.
Yeah, we never had the
Yeah,
key to
and
it.
I think that's always.
They could like post content and
Right.
things
We
like
could post content, we could change or we could, there were things we could do as far as the basic content and, making changes and things like that. We could, do most of the things that you can do on your own page.
Let me maybe suggest this, because I reached out on this, I'm looking back at it, April 7th, I think, or April 6th, or April 7th, so it was earlier this month. I got a response back, and I've shared that, with you all. I might suggest that you all allow me to continue to talk to, Mr. Rozelle, who's Kent's attorney about it. Perhaps we can come to, a resolution. If not, I'll come back to you all, maybe by the work session, sort of let you know where things stand, so you guys can ultimately decide which course for the city to take. Does that sound appropriate to you all?
That's good to me.
that. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you very much. I didn't have anything else unless there are, any questions for me.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Clerk treasurer's report?
Yeah, I don't have one.
And mayor's report, and I don't have one this month. Public comments?
My name is Peter Smith. I live over in the Brentwood subdivision. Just wanted to clarify, I was very happy to hear that there's gonna be projects moving forward to, start identifying, hey, how can we address the drainage, brown, Burdine, and then hopefully eventually the 264 improvements, that drainage can help as well. I thought there's a really big opportunity there to help us out from that massive water that keeps flowing into our backyards. But for those projects that we're starting to look into, things like that, do we have any sort of time frame of when we'll start seeing action, when we'll start seeing some ideas presented? Just anything that we can kind of go off of other than just, hey, we're working on it.
Yeah.
We already have several proposals, I say proposals, but options in front of the mayor, and he's asked us to make a few adjustments to those. So it's ongoing right now. Ultimately, we'll come back to the council and present those, and it'll be a funding issue. It's what's in the budget, and what can we afford, and when can it be done? So I would think, just based, once it's presented, and based on the money that's available, that's gonna generate the timeline.
Daniel, you're specifically referencing the Brentwood issue in reference to the 264, correct? Or are you just addressing all of it?
Well, I mean, we heard that there was the 264 RDOT was, there was no budget set for that, but then, you mentioned that drainage for Brown, drainage for Burdine, kind of those little pocket areas, those little identified areas. So it's more of the Burdine issue, Brown issue, things like
Okay,
that.
I'm
But
sorry.
specifically on my end, I'm concerned about the Burdines, that's our backyard.
Yes.
So,
With RDOT?
Yeah,
It's
on
like-
yes, on the one that's we're referring to, Highway 264, I've got to be honest, we're talking, there's going to be time associated with that. This will not be a next year or the next year
Right.
project, because it'll require a lot of funding from multiple sources.
Right. But in terms of like what's going on with those specific drainage areas, like Bird Eye, I mean, you had mentioned different proposals being put in front of the mayor and whatnot. I mean, if I come to the next city council meeting, I mean, is that gonna be enough time to say, hey, we've looked at all these options, yes, here's the plan in place, because, I mean, as of today, you know, we've been in the last couple of weeks, like, the rain is starting to come, and, you know, I've been up here several times saying, hey, we've got that drainage is still an issue. We got through all the dry months, and now we're getting back into the wet months again. And we're still fearful that another 100-year event is gonna come through, you know, within, 2 years. So, but, I mean, if I come to the next one, I mean, can I expect and tell, my fellow residents over in that area, hey, come to the next one, they're gonna start presenting plans, or they're gonna start showing plans? I mean, is that reasonable for a time frame to say?
Yes, it's reasonable. We have information right now. That we've already talked through, so.
Okay, yeah, we'll be in here next time, and we'll see what's going on. I appreciate it.
Anyone else? First item on the agenda, the drainage has been well covered by Daniel, so.
One question on that. How, maybe it's a Justin and Daniel question, how are you going to, or can I notify the residents from Clearway Valley that have reached out to me in the past to let them know? Or can the city send them a letter? How do you notify them that those are not on roads? Like, to update them, so they know that they're not on roads. Can I call and say, hey, this was discussed at the council meeting, and go listen to it?
Yeah, one thing I want to make sure we're clear on the terminology is, the roads were not dedicated, right?
True,
So,
sorry.
by the plat, they weren't, so we don't have a dedication. And, ownership of roads can happen through a plat, but also can happen through prescription, or sort of the public taking of a property. Who knows if we dial back 20 years, why it was missed or how it was missed. In particular, there are a lot of things kind of with that set of roads with drainage there, which are suboptimal to say the least. But, as it is on paper right now, we don't have a dedication. I think that this may be kind of part of a larger discussion, because that raises other types of issues. If you have private roads down there, for one thing, we have city assets like the old water line, sewer pump station, and things like that, which those roads are often used or can be used to access. And so I kind of think we need to take a careful approach. I think one of the problems with communicating right now might be sort of misunderstanding for people to say, you're on your own, you're never going to get help again, because these roads are never dedicated. And I'm not so sure that final decision has been made yet.
Well, I would like to reach out and say what the roads we talked about at the council meeting.
Yeah, I think we can talk about facts, and that there is a fact that they were never included in the dedication. And so, if we were to work on, I think we were talking like we've been asked to look at the drainage in that particular area. Well, one of the problems is we don't own any of the drainage structures, so we can't really work on them as they are right now. It doesn't mean that there's not a future solution that could arise that we look at that would benefit everybody, that would be appropriate for the city and all that sort of stuff. But I just want to put that kind of caution like that somebody might be hearing that saying, oh, you tell them that we're still on our own.
I didn't take it like that, but as of right now, we can't continue
ultimately, that's kind of what the status is over there right now, is they have landowner issues. One property draining onto another. We don't have city infrastructure, city drainage, we don't have city roads. So, I think it's good to communicate the facts, but just to, like, probably be pretty careful about, making sure that we're not gonna do anything anymore, because it's part of the whole discussion for the city is the council and everybody's trying to talk about is drainage as a whole. But,
Hopefully this is going to be.
if it would be helpful, I could probably just draw, because I know that's cutting a fine line, I could just draw a little memo about it,
That's
to
what I
provide
was-
the council, that way you all can provide that to people who ask.
That, yes,
Yeah.
the facts.
I'll try to do it in a way that's very precise so that they sort of understand.
That's exactly what I was
Okay.
saying. Thank you so much.
So I'll do a memo on it, and, that'll be a memo that can be distributed to council, and you guys can
And then
distribute.
Randy can turn that on, and we can get on this one. Perfect, thank you so much.
And I just want to jump in real quick and say again, Daniel, I appreciate the work that you and Bill are doing, and it just, there are technical problems that take coordination between public entities and private entities like professional services to fix, and they don't, you can't rush them, they don't get fixed by snapping their fingers, and I know when I came on council, especially when it came to things like dealing with RDOT, the speed of things threw me off and concerned me, and I tried to push myself into the realm as much as I could, and I very quickly found out that I was most of the time just getting in the way of the people who actually were solving those technical problems with limited personnel and limited resources, and that's the world we live in. We have to try to solve technical problems by relying on the professional services that we contract out with. We don't have a city engineer, we contract with McClellan. McClellan has limited personnel, and obviously, I mean, they bill us for their time and services. They want to spend as much time as they can on our services. I don't think anybody's dawdling, and I think I just want to address that, just say, I appreciate the work that you guys are doing. These are technical problems. They're a part of development. The Brown Road property, for example, is in my backyard. I live on Brown Road. I know the property owners. That's a single property owner, singular property owner. And they live at the bottom of two giant hills. It just, again, I'm not an engineer or a genius or anything, but I mean, that you're going to run into drainage problems as we start to develop, and they're technical problems that require technical solutions. It's not something that admits being rushed, and I want everybody to know that there is a lot of work going on behind the scenes, and that doesn't mean that the work is not real. And frankly, I've spent a lot of time looking over some of the stuff that McClellan has produced, and it's not really in my wheelhouse to understand some of it. We have to rely on our advisors, we have to rely on the experts that we contract with to do technical work and professional services. And just like we trust Justin when it comes to lawsuits, and that's advisable to do, when it comes to these technical problems, they're going to require technical solutions. And I think we have a good team working on those things. Nothing happens overnight. Some things are extremely frustratingly slow, especially as they deal with state highways. And so I do appreciate the work you're doing, though, and as we continue to battle the drainage issue, I'm hoping that the people will see that work you guys do behind the scenes more and more. So.
And I would prefer not to see them move too quickly, because usually when they're moving quickly, it's on reports related to disasters. And those are not things we want to go through again. But it's very helpful that they are both in Little Rock and up here. And the connections they have help us be able to do things more efficiently. Through RDOT, through ADEQ and the health department and the different state agencies we have to deal with. It's amazing the way that they're able to have the contacts move through the process as well as they do. It seems like it takes forever, but a lot of times it's sitting on the desk in Little Rock waiting on a response before we can take the next step. It's not McClellan holding it up. So I do appreciate them more than I usually say, but I'm very grateful for the work they do. Anything else? First item on the agenda is, under previous business, is the ordinance to vacate the property for the Haynes. And do I hear a motion to suspend the rules and place this on ordinance on third and final reading by title only?
So moved.
Got a motion by Erica, do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Mike. So, roll call?
Erica,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
JJ.
Yes, and then Justin, do I need to recuse myself in this vote? The Haney's, I handled the original rezoning for them, but I'm not representing them anymore. Do I need to recuse myself?
If you do.
There won't be a quorum.
There will not be a quorum for this.
Is it a conflict?
This is waiver of the rule, hold on, I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
After the waiver of the rule, there would, I can vote.
It's true, yeah, the mayor could vote, so,
I'll just recuse myself to be safe then.
well, the mayor could vote for, let's see, here's the rule. Thank you, mayor can vote, yeah, so, if the problem is the mayor doesn't vote on the rule, the waiver of the rule.
And they just did that.
Well, I can vote on the waiver of the rule though, can't I? Because there won't be a conflict on that, but.
Typically not, because you're not saying one or the other, whether
Yeah.
you're going to vote or not, but, you did recuse on the previous votes, so
Yeah.
I probably would maintain that, but in order for this to pass, the mayor would have to.
But I think when I recused in the previous votes, I didn't recuse on the
I don't think you did either.
waiver.
That's
That's
what
what
I'm
I was
trying to
say,
say.
yeah. But
Sorry about that, I'm glad you brought that up, I forgot about that.
It's okay.
So, I think you still need to vote for the rule.
oh, I said yes.
You did, okay. So is that four?
That's
Full four.
It was approved. So,
We have the ordinance number.
It's 2026-04.
Ordinance number 2026-04, City of Cave Springs, Benton County, Arkansas, ordinance to amend ordinance number 2026-01, vacating the 50-foot wide portion of right-of-way known as Maple Street while retaining a 15-foot easement for the benefit of the City of Cave Springs and also vacating a 20-foot wide alley located on the East Midway Avenue in the City of Cave Springs, Arkansas.
do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Got a motion from Erica, do I hear a second?
Second.
Second from Chris. Roll call.
Now, is this the one that JJ's going to,
Correct.
okay. Let's do Mike,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
JJ.
Recuse.
Thank you, Erica.
Yes.
And Mayor?
And the mayor votes in the affirmative, so it does pass.
That passes 4-0. Mayor's vote.
Next item on the agenda is the ordinance to amend chapter 30, which is the operational code for the municipal council and mayor's office. So I would entertain a motion to suspend the rules and place this on third and final reading by title only.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by JJ, do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, got a second by Mike. Roll call.
Chris,
Yes.
JJ,
Yes.
Erica,
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Okay, that passed. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Got a motion from Erica, do I hear a second?
A second.
Second by Chris. Any discussion?
Mayor, do I need to read the
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, I got that.
do that real fast. Ordinance number 2026-05, City of Cave Springs, Benton County, Arkansas. An ordinance to amend chapter 30, Mayor, City Council of the City of Cave Springs, of the Cave Springs Municipal Code, declaring an emergency for other purposes.
Now do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Got a motion by Erica, do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Mike. Any discussion? All in favor, or, roll call?
JJ,
Yes.
Erica,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Chris?
Yes. Okay, that is 2026-05, and then
I'll
was,
make a motion on the emergency clause.
Yes.
do I hear a motion to approve
So
the
moved.
emergency? Okay, got a motion by JJ, do I hear a second? Second by Erica, roll call.
Erica,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
JJ?
Yes.
was approved 4-0. So, next item on the agenda is a resolution authorizing the purchase of a 250-gallon skid unit for the brush truck for the fire department. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
A motion by JJ, do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Chris. And what's the number on this?
2026-15.
15. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
What is this?
It's the aluminum tank that holds the water on a flatbed truck. You,
So we bought a cabin chassis last year for a new brush truck, we moved everything over, and, the tank's probably 40 years old. And it started leaking, so we tried to go cheap and we got burned. So that's what we're asking for, this in new pump, and
Okay.
so that's what.
I just didn't know what it was.
Yeah, it's for the brush truck, and we tried to use an old one, I think Tony said it's like probably 40 years old. So,
I went and picked it up in like 1982.
any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign, and that passed. Next item is the ordinance amending ordinance 2023-4 for revised payment schedule for the bond swap. Do I hear a motion to suspend the rules and place this on third and final reading by title only?
So moved.
Got a motion by JJ, do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Erica. Roll call.
Mike?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
JJ?
Yes.
Erica?
Yes.
Ordinance number, be 2026-06. 06. An ordinance amending ordinance number 2023-4, authorizing a revised repayment schedule for the outstanding City of Cave Springs, Arkansas sewer revenue bond, series 2023, and prescribing other matters related thereto.
Do I hear a motion to approve?
So,
Got a motion by Erica, do I hear a second?
Second.
Who was it?
It was me.
Second by JJ. Any discussion? Roll call.
Chris?
Yes.
JJ?
Yes.
Erica?
yes.
Mike?
Yes.
That was approved. And there's not an emergency clause on this, is there? Okay. And that is what we had on the schedule. Do I hear a motion
I have
to?
one thing I'd like to bring up. Since we definitely do need road improvements and to have the funds that come in to do so, what is our impact fee schedule like now for the new homes being built? Is it fall in line with other cities, or is there a way to increase that due to the wear and tear on the roads? I know that's what it's for, but, is there a way to increase that? Because we are.
We don't have an impact fee on that yet. That's why we were talking earlier in the year about doing a public hearing due to staff and determine an impact fee.
Sorry, I can't do it.
I feel that,
The impact fee deal that we were talking about for roads, and we were saying as soon as we got through the water and water and sewer study, that was the next study we planned to do, was for impact fees for police, fire, and roads.
but I thought there was an impact fee for, like, when a new house goes up, we have an impact fee that our city.
You have water and sewer, but
Just
each
for
one
water and
has
sewer.
to be set by ordinance, and those two have to.
Okay, so can we look at the road one and get that one underway?
Yes, we
And
are.
also, can we is it, when do those go into effect? Is it when we approve the plat, or is it?
No, it's
Or
when
when
they
it is
get
approved.
their permit. They do the permit.
With their permit, when's the permit coming, does that come before the applicant plat, or when it's?
I just want
Should we maybe add this to the work session agenda for next time?
That sounds great.
Yeah, that sounds like a intense conversation, so.
That sounds fine.
And then I'll make a motion to adjourn, if that's.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.